Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Joe, aka Joe the Wellness Curator, and this is the Obsidian Mindset Podcast, where we are redefining what wellness means to you. All right, so before we jump into this week's episode, first, I want to do some housekeeping. So if you're not subscribed to our Substack yet, links in bio. Obsidian Insights. We have a lot of good resources, a lot of good stories, a lot of good articles, and we have a challenge coming up in March. So stay tuned for that, especially since we have an amazing event planned for the end of March as well. So you don't want to miss that. And Obsidian Insights, you'll see it first. And then you'll see it second on our IG. So make sure you're following us at Obsidian Wellness Club and Obsidian Mindset. All right. So, with that said, we are now going to get into our interview with Starlight. Now, this interview was equal part gems and equal part laughs, to be honest. So, let me tell you a little bit about who she is before we really jump into this. So, Starlight is a self proclaimed sleep deprived Scorpio from the suburbs of Atlanta. She balances being a digital editor, group fitness instructor, 500-hour trained yoga teacher, and a certified personal trainer. When she's not working or working out, she's either traveling, crushing oysters with her friends, or planning a wedding. Because, yes, of course, she's a fiance too. When the stars are aligned, of course, she's actually getting some sleep. All right, so now get your notepad or the notes app on your phone, get ready to hear some gems, and enjoy the interview. Welcome! Hi, Starlight! How are you?
You know, I think you may have heard me say this before. Like I was choosing joy. I used to say I'm alive, and now I'm just like I'm out here. I am choosing to exist well, and that
Okay.
is where I am right now. Where some days it's joyful, some days it's peace, some day it's rage. I am choosing to exist, and that is here and where I am right now.
I love that answer. That's very Starlight. You
On
are a
brand.
brand. You are a brand. No, I think that's real because, I've been talking. We're gonna go deep right from the jump, but I've been talking about like really embracing all your emotions. All your emotions are valid, and we should stop judging each other for all the things that we feel.
And there's your free therapy, y'all. Um,
That is a also keynote. We are not therapists. I am not licensed. If you have anything, please go to your licensed therapist.
amen.
All right. So first and foremost, tell me, I would like to know who is Starlight and what is your wellness journey? If I were to ask you what that meant.
Who, who is Starlight?
Who is Starlight?
Starlight is a Georgia peach,
Yes.
a first generation Jamaican,
Boop, boop.
a gang gang. I am a yoga teacher, a group strength training coach. I'm an editor for a national magazine. I I am I those some of the things is like it's kind of hard to define who are. I'm a girl of many hats
Mhm.
and many cat ears, and I am a cat mom. And I don't know, who am I? I am a Black girl in DC trying her best, figuring out adulthood one day at a time. Um, and yeah, and what comes with that, and realizing that who I thought I was gonna be might not exist,
Ooh.
but it's okay because where I'm going to go and the adventures that I'm currently in is a blessing in itself. And that is a lesson every single day. RIP 12-year-old Starlight Dreams. But
Ah,
we're trying. And like what wellness means to me, if you had asked me that 5 years ago, wellness would have been like, oh, me getting into like the best shape of my life, being super fit, all these different things. And I think through the pandemic and through the post years, it's really just trying to decide who is like the healthiest being that's both balanced in physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. So I would have said that my wellness journey, part one, started in 2019. My holistic wellness journey started like 5 days ago.
part
So
two.
here we are. Part two. Part two. Here we are.
I'll let you know how that goes. We still in it.
TBD.
So, okay. Oh, okay. You gave me so much. Okay. So, how do you say you're digital editor? group fitness instructor, yoga teacher, cat mom, personal trainer. How do you balance all
Fiance,
that? Fiance, cat. How do you balance all those roles while keeping your own wellness in check?
you know, I think like I used to be like, I was like, I'm a woman of many hands. But honestly, what it is checks and balances and realizing, and this is where the like the wellness journey comes in, is that I don't, not everything is 100%, right?
Mm.
And so I am learning how to pour into things that it might not look 100%, but it's still being fulfilling. So, and that energy is also being returned back in the same way. So it's not always, it's creating a balance in a way, right? So I give so much and hope in return I get poured back into, so I still stay energized and existing and all that jazz. So how do I have time? I am a strict schedule follower. I struggle with go with the flow. You know how it is, calendar.
Same,
Hey.
same.
But I love it's the same thing in the same opposite hand though. It's like spontaneity in the moment where it's like not a last minute decision where you're not an afterthought. It's when it's intentional, then you're like, oh my God, yeah, why not? Let me lean in. Um, and so I think I always map myself in ahead and I always be like, all right, I know that these are the things that have to get done no matter what, non-negotiable, cool, fit in your schedule. And you make it where I made it more flexible, where it's like, all right, here's a pool of options that fulfills this category. Choose one. And if you did that, you have succeeded in that category and you can move on with your day. So, look, if it means you have 5 edits to do, but you have two that are due within for this week, those are the ones that get done. We'll worry about the rest later. If I know I haven't seen it's XYZ friend in that amount of time, let me reach out. Hey, can I schedule in for this day? You friend, can I schedule in for this day? Great. They're mapped out. I know when I'm going to see that. The intention is there. I know I need to work out. And some days I'm like, let me go balls to walls, like get the job done. And some days it's like, I stretched my toes away from my body and brought it back in. And that was mobility today. And look,
Win.
I showed up. So I guess fitting it all is realizing I do take advantage of my time. I do overburden myself in that time. But for the most part, it's just like we hope we don't forget anything. We hope we wrote it down. If you didn't see me write it down, it means I did not remember. I will have forgotten. It has left my ears a moment. Remember that, friends. If you did not see Starlight, write it down. It's not real. And yeah, we're trying our best.
Please apply that to Joe's friends too. If I did not send a calendar invite and you didn't send me one, there is a
Cancel.
85% chance, and you don't warn me 24 hours in advance. Oh, it's I forgot.
How are you
I'll let you
gonna
know.
follow up 20 minutes before you're supposed to meet somewhere for the first time? Haven't talked about it. We should be like, hey, we still on for what?
I forgot. You
Sorry, for
literally that. On for what? No drink. Okay, so so ironically, the way you're talking about it, because we had a summer discussion, you also wrote in, you described yourself as a slow burn circuit workout, which is actually building strength and adaptability over time, which is actually exactly how you described your calendar. So how has that mindset shaped your approach to fitness and your life in general?
Okay, so that was very much a lesson learned type of situation. I think when I started my wellness journey, and I feel like what a lot of people do is it's all or nothing. And I went feet first, said, let's go. And I think how it really transitioned to that slow burn, I think I was exerting myself so much. I was a person type
Mhm.
of person be like 2 to 3 classes a day. Let me move my body. Okay, you got to eat nutrition like this, only lettuce, no carbs, no this, no that, no joy. And just really seeing where it could take me. And honestly, of course, you saw results for like 5 seconds. And then immediately your body was like, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you are not her.
Tried
So,
it.
like, immediately I like the shape I was looking for wasn't existing. The mindset, my mental health was horrific. And then like the thing about it all in all is that injury after injury. It was like from
Mm.
feet all the way up to shoulders. There was nothing that didn't cause me pain. And I think that was when the evaluation, it's like, what purpose am I serving? That thinking that wellness, that fitness, that health is supposed to cause me pain. And if I'm spending all my time leaning into this journey, but my body is like, you're not ready for it. You haven't set yourself up for success. You haven't built the foundation. It's weak, it's shaky. Where do you think you're going? So I think I really, after my like third injury, you think y'all would have learned after the first one, but your girl is stubborn. After my third injury, I really sat down and said, okay, it's also like when I started learning about like more like functional fitness and more about like the importance of like our tendons, our joints, and how like muscles
Mm.
can grow strong quickly, but the tendons and joints cannot. And if we build something with that imbalance, harm happens. And so it's also the same way like with my own life. I was like, all right, if you are doing so much and doing so many things, but you don't have a strong foundation, you don't have the right mental space for it, you don't have the right personal connections with people, you don't have anything that's in place, everything always falls, it fails. And then you're just looking around being like, how could it be? And I'm like, what do you mean? You have 14 cracks, a broken wall? Like, you didn't set yourself up. So I think having that experience and going through those pains and recovering, shout out to every PT person I've ever been to, working in that slow transition of taking your time and really embracing the folk tale of like the turtle wins the race, what the tortoise wins the race, like slow and steady.
Mhm.
Take your time. Why are you rushing? What are you rushing for? Like what you're just starting out, you're just existing, so take your time. And I always have to remember like whatever you thought about yourself didn't happen in a day. So whatever changes that you're making, whatever goals that you're setting up, whatever dreams you're aspiring to also don't happen into a day. Unfortunately, you got to work for it. And boo work, but it's a life lesson that I don't know, has been carrying me forward so far.
I like that. All right, that's a gem for folks that are in their wellness journey trying to figure things out and to also add some recovery.
Please do. Do your thing.
So, that's ironic because you did mention that you wanted to be like a 85-year-old who falls and just gets back up, which is hashtag goals. So what are you doing today to make sure that future version of you is thriving?
Oh, okay. So it's literally everything from let's start from the physical aspect, like strength training, mobility training, flexibility training. Yes, they are different. Resistance training, like things of preparing my body, one, to make sure that my bone density is strong. Remember, women, once you start hitting 30 to 35, bone density starts to decrease, muscle density starts to decrease. So start building it now. Um, I also have been really thinking about my nutrition and how it carries over. A lot of recent studies have just showed out like having too much fats and sugars in your childhood is not something that just affects you in your youth. It has lifelong consequences. And my mother drilled that into my head so hard. We come from a family of diabetics. My mom was like, I'm not about to be a diabetic. She's like, you're not about to be one either. And I don't know, that put a sense of fear in me of like how first it corrupted a relationship with food, but now it's like a healing journey of being like, there's no such thing as bad food, but what can I take in? That's like a car. You have to put the right gas in for it to go. So what nutrition I put in my body to make sure I'm fully functional, while still
Mhm.
realizing that if I want a cookie, I will eat a cookie. Okay. Um, but then also just realizing like I think even adding new adventures of play, right? Trying things that are scary and trying things that are new. I always say by Starlight of 5 years ago did not jump. Starlight 5 years ago would not refuses to fall. She's still working on the falling part. But like the jumping aspect, I think it's funny because I always like, oh, jumping is terrible for your knees, it's terrible for your joints. And technically, if you do it wrong, everything's bad for your body. Eating
Right.
broccoli can make you violently sick, y'all. It's still good for you in
Hmm.
moderation. And so I think really once again, I think going back to that, learning the foundation of what I need now to protect my body and to grow with it. So like your girl is now finally jumping. Um, it's
Yes.
like we are explosive, we're moving our body, and I was like, holy shit, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then I think for like falling, I think is my next new adventure to tackle. My goal this summer is to finally learn how to properly roller skate. And the thing is, let me give you context. I have been roller skating for at least 20 years. Like it's
Oh,
right?
oh,
No,
but you're from
not
Georgia.
no, no. Yes,
No?
but no. Because the girl refused to fall. She never learned
Oh,
how to
okay.
properly I can't break. I cannot smoothly rock my body side to side. If a 5-year-old is in my way, I would rather knock that 5-year-old. Get out of my way. I can't stop. I can't. How am I supposed? Everyone's like, dip your toe down. But I'm like, if I dip too far, I fall over and break my hands. What? What? Learning to fail is a good thing because it realizes what you're not supposed to do. You learn a life lesson. And
Mhm.
that is where your girl is right now. I need to learn how to fall, how to fail, how to get back up. Hell, I stopped self-defense classes because the whole point was to fall. And I was like, but why? He's like, you need someone to hit you. And I'm like, but why?
Not a self-defense class. Why are you
I
hitting me?
Yeah, I was like, why? And it's an incredible knowledge you need to have, but like that fear that's hard, so I couldn't overcome it. That you lose out learning skills, right? And then when you're now 85, I can't fall now. So how am I gonna fall at 85 and get back up? And like I have a lot of like elderly people in my life, and you hear their stories, and you're just like, oh, I fell down the stairs today. I fell down this. And if you're by yourself, you're just there. Who's
Can't
going
press
to
that.
help you?
What
And
if you
it's
don't got that button? What if you don't got
what if
the?
you don't have life alert? I mean, it's horrifying. And I think
Yeah.
those fears is what motivates me for now. I stand by everything I do for me now is for future Starlight. I mean, yes, I get to reap some of the rewards now, but I'm investing in myself where, like, look, if I can't beat my grandchild at a foot race until they're at least 12 years old, notice how I didn't say child, I said grandchild. If I can't beat them, make them be like, damn, grandma like that, then I have failed myself. Okay.
Not a fail.
Me. I have failed me. That is my stipulation. Okay. You do you, y'all. You do your health journey how you want. My health journey is to crush the dreams of children. All
So,
right.
well, you're gonna roller skate over them.
Yep. Move. Just like you in my way if you're on the
I mean,
beltway going the speed limit and less.
how do we
Get
get the
out my
traffic?
way.
Not you coming for your unborn child's child. Say, meet me on the track. How about
Let's
that?
go. Look, we're working on speed training every day. Y'all don't forget we meet on Sundays,
We meet on Sundays.
10
Potentially might
a.m.
change, but 10 a.m. for now.
For now, Joe has us sprinting up hills,
Yes. Oh, I'm
upstairs.
excited. I'm
And
excited.
look, your girl's getting faster.
She
So come through.
is. Cause I'm like, how she's right behind me. She catching up. She
I was
passing
trying, I
me.
was like, oh my God, I'm close.
She said, we doing glutes. My hammies are getting large and in charge, and we getting fast. Explosive. See, that's them explosive. Okay, so I want to hear more about your philosophy on movement. So you said you were passionate about making move, or you're passionate about making fitness personal, and it's not one size fit all. So how do you guide people to find what truly works for them?
I hope so. I think I think, yeah, I feel like I talk to a lot of people, like even my own family, where everyone's like, well, I don't like to run, but I need to
Oh
help
my,
when I'm running. And I'm
oh
like,
my God.
if you don't like to run,
Don't
why
do
the hell
it.
are you running?
Oh my
Or,
God.
oh, I hate yoga, but I do. And I'm like, then why are you, I don't want to do this or that and this. And I'm like, I feel like we're all grown ass adults. Who was forcing you? Who was telling you?
Stresses
And
me out.
I feel like the people I'm working with right now, I try to argue. I was like, 30 minutes of you dancing aggressively to your favorite songs in the living room is cardio. That is cardio right there. Your heart rates, but you hula hooping at a certain space. I don't know if you ever tried hula hooping for
I
30
have. That's hard.
minutes. All right. Hopscotching with your little niece and nephews. Joy. You're
Winded.
jumping and cardio. Okay. Like, even in the sense of like, okay, you don't like yoga, cool, but you could do some couple cat cows and stretches in bed. Wow, we did mobility today. Figuring out your full range of motions and trying something new. I have from the rock climbers to the sword fighters to the walking girlies to the runners, everybody. I'm like, you choose the movement that feels good to you, right? Now, is it helpful to do multiple forms of movement? Yes. All right. Should you move your body in immense, incredible different ways because you move your body in wild ways? Yes. It's to say, like, I don't know. I think I was working on a story at work about Pilates, about like the benefits of Pilates and like how the trend right now is everyone's like Pilates bodies, Pilates bodies. Everyone wants to be a Pilates bodies. And I think one of my favorite quotes, and I'll go back and find out her name, but she was a Pilates instructor being like, the goal of Joseph Pilates when he created it was basically saying that you are as young as your spine feels, not
Mm.
as young as you are slim, right? And so the idea of like people chasing this Pilates aesthetic, and I'm like, Pilates is great. It strengthens and tones your body, increases mobility, it's endurance, but it's not gonna give you everything if you just did Pilates, like your hopes and dreams, whatever, right? And the Pilates bodies that you're thinking of, it means is that they have less muscle mass and less fat. All right. So their nutrition plays in that, genetics plays in that, all these different things play into that. So to say that Pilates is the perfect workout is not fair. And the same thing is like strength training is the best workout. And like it's incredible. It does some great things to your body. It helps you build your bone density. It builds your calories by in a more stasis space. Um, it's a beautiful way to challenge your muscles in that way. But if you only did strength training and nothing else, you're usually pretty stiff or sore a little bit. You didn't walk at all, you don't touch your
Hmm.
toes at all, you don't do nothing else. You just did one style. And I'm like, you don't go home and watch the same type of shows over and over. You don't eat
Mm.
food every night. You don't do the same task every day. So like why would you limit to yourself to one form of movement? So you can love something and you should love it. You have your favorite. But it's not to say that there's not benefits from doing something else. And then how can you find one that works for you? All right. So going to the gym by yourself doesn't spark joy. Group fitness. Group fitness is too expensive. Free videos on YouTube. You don't have internet for some odd reason, you can do the calisthenics on your living room floor and go to the library and find what you need and figure out that documentation. You can bribe a friend who's into fitness with lunch or brunch or something and get the job done. There's so many ways to spark curiosity and move your body and figure it out for you. And whether it's you're doing it for 5 minutes a day or you're doing it for an hour a day, as long as you continue to show up, you have won. That's the consistency, right? It's not the, oh, well, I went super hard, super aggressive, and it didn't work out for me in 2 seconds, so I quit. And it just not, I don't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I'm like, all right, well, I, most kids don't like taking showers, and yet they learn, they do it anyways, and they get
Some,
to it. So,
some, not all, because because I'm on that train, and not all. I'll tell you that. Uh, no, that's real. I love that. That I always cringe whenever someone says I hate running, but I have to do it. I just I'm like, you don't have to do anything. They're like, oh, it's the best for me.
who has a
It's,
gun against your head? Who
it
said?
has so much things. There's so many things. Granted, running has helped me if I have to go run for the bus. But I mean, if I do, like, there's so many other things. There's so many, like you said. But moving on before I go into that rant. One thing that I like that you said, or that I totally agree, is that you said you hate how fitness has become a pay to play experience in American culture. So let me know, can you tell me what that means and what shifts would you love to see in how people approach movement?
Okay. So the pay to play mindset is we talk about how movement, you were meant to move.
Hmm.
Right? Like you as design, if you think about like back into our like ancestors, like the Neanderthals and the like back. Your whole design premise was to move your body. You didn't schedule out time to be like, oh, I guess I need you had to move, otherwise you would die. Something would kill you, right?
Hmm.
And as we got into the industrial era and we started modernizing and bringing more technology, things more accessible, we stopped moving, right? It
Hmm.
became limited. We got more office jobs, we got more things. And those are not wrong things, but it became something that we weren't naturally just moving our body, whether it's walking, whether it's riding your bike, it's playing with your dog. We just stopped. We stopped. And so the idea now that this industry comes in that really sparked, I feel like a big movement in the like 1980s is that people are like, okay, we're moving into the office, but people are still want to be health conscious. They still want to move. How can we profit off of that? And that's where you start getting like what the box gyms. You start getting like the bigger
Hmm.
the niche boutique fitness and like, oh, spend XYZ money to move your body. And like it's like once again, it's like you think of like other countries and other nations that movement is embedded into their everyday. And
Hmm.
whether it's like um I would say like in a lot of Asian countries, they have like time slots where like little like alarms go off. It'll be like national videos that go across on advertisement and they like, oh, it's time for my daily stretches or like, hourly stretch to move a little bit, or you're walking, you're in walking cities of Europe and you're taking your time to get places, or it's just the idea of like you're outdoor and your entertainment with your friends is playing beach volleyball and it's biking together, it's kids playing outside, it's naturally part of you. So the things that is technically free, right? I think like we always go back to running, but I think running cracks me up the most is because technically speaking, all you need is some shoes, some clothes, and you can run, right? But somewhere along the way, we said you have to have a specific kind of shoe. You need to have the most advanced watch that calculates all these things you really don't need to know.
Don't need
You
to know.
need a visor, you need special sunglasses, you need special this and special that. And I'm like, when did we say that running all of a sudden became $100 plus hobby? all you need is some trainers, some comfy, wicking nice clothes, and go. And
Mhm.
so it's the idea of like things that were like ancient practices, like yoga, that we have somehow made into like a box corporation gym where you're spending hundreds of thousands
Mhm.
to participate in each year. It's the idea like Pilates, let's go back to that, started by a prisoner of war. Literally, the guy was like, I just need to move my body in prison. It was to rehabilitate soldiers and to
Mhm.
help prisoners not like their muscles atrophy. And somehow all of a sudden you have it as a TikTok trend where people are like, okay, do this membership, do this, or you need XYZ tools to do this. And I'm like, wait.
You're losing the plot.
And it's not to say that these things aren't cool. Don't get me wrong. I love my fancy running shoes. They help me with my knees, okay?
Mhm.
You love the accessibility, but you love the access to these things, but it takes away the accessibility. So realizing that someone who doesn't have the income, doesn't have the time, doesn't have the means, all of a sudden can't think about their health, which is wild because
Mhm.
not investing your health in the long run costs you 10 times more
Yeah.
when because you couldn't move your body, you couldn't find the nutritional things, you couldn't do X, Y, and Z, all of a sudden, okay, now you have a chronic illness. All of a sudden, you are struggling for basic things. I don't know, I feel like my wake up calls when I moved to DC. Like I tell a lot of people, I moved to DC and when I tell y'all, I'm from the South, y'all. Like, sure, Caribbean household, but I myself am from the South. I have never walked anywhere a day in my life. I drive, okay? And to move to DC at like 21 years old in a place where I was wearing heels and I moved to DC and people were walking and I thought they were running from something. I was like, why are we? And then I'm like, no, this is just their casual speed. And me, who is not used to walking whatsoever, is now having to take the metro everywhere, who's now having to walk places because who had Uber money when you first moved to DC?
Mhm.
And who, and like, I'm terrified to ride bikes on streets. So I'm now moving my body in ways that it's not used to. And plantar fasciitis, horrific shin splints from
Oh.
walking.
Oh.
And like, it is a privilege to walk, yes.
Mhm.
But the fact that I have the privilege to walk and something that is basic in that privilege that I could not do it without harming myself was like, what the hell?
Mm.
Livid. I was so angry. And I was like,
Mhm.
this is it? This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now? And then I think to compound it is that I ended up in a group fitness class. It was like my boss wanted us to have like a team bonding event. And I went to a yoga studio that I currently work out now, and I still love them. But I went in there, and every girl in there, and it was a very female predominant, every girl in there could do some variation of a push up, and I could not. And I know we work with our classes, we work with our people. I know everyone gets like, I just want to do what they're doing. And I was in that mentality too. I was just so angry that I could not do it. And when I tell you, I dedicated like a hard, like 8 months just to get one push up, like in the perfect form that was best for me. And even now, it's what 5 years later, I got my 10 push ups, but I'm fighting for my life for those 10 push ups. I'm
I'm
not gonna lie
fighting for life.
if 10 consecutive push-ups, like no pause, no break, just go for it, I'm like, man, my triceps are like, what are you doing? What is this? And so, like, I think right now I'm focusing on a lot of the explosiveness just to build up that power in it. But it's the idea of like, I think I was doing it when I finally started learning that push-up. I was doing it wrong for so long. I wasn't going anywhere. And someone was like, how about you start on your knees? And how about you do a negative push-up? Like, why are you trying to go for the hardest variation?
Mm.
Why not you start where you are, build that foundation and progress. Like, why are you so taxed at doing something that's not for you, pushing yourself to those limits, and then getting disappointed when you can't accomplish it, and then giving up, being like, oh, I'm just not meant to do that, or getting injured and not being able to do anything at all. And I
Mm.
think I know that kick fired so many things in me that I was like, all right, I have to move my body. I have to be creative in how I move it. So like it was everything from like hula hooping to like rock climbing step stuff to hiking. I fell in love with nature. I love hiking. Um,
Yes.
all the different ways that I'm like, I don't have to be in a gym. Hiking's free unless you're at a national park, which well, that's a different conversation for a different day. How are you gonna charge me for nature? Neither there. But like walking is free. Hiking is free. Hula hoop was a $5 at Walmart. Like getting things that went back to the things that you used to do when you were a child and you couldn't pay for anything. What did you do? You didn't have your fancy running shoes. You didn't have your fancy watches. You didn't have your memberships. You moved.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I was like the flexibility, like, look, there's no one fit all to fitness. I don't like when people are like, oh, you have to do this, you need to do that, you only do blah 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 blah. I'm like, no,
Mhm.
take what you need, find the moderation in it, and find your success that way.
Oh, God. That and it's so interesting because jumps right into my next topic of so Obsidian's 2025 theme is finding joy in movement, right? Just we are what do you like to do? Like that's really what it is. And experimenting, exploring, figuring it out. If you don't like it, don't do it again. If you do like it, try it again. Try a little bit harder, try a little bit softer, whatever that looks like. So with that, and knowing that theme, what are some ways you think people can reconnect with joy of moving their bodies instead of just chasing results?
I think the easiest way is what's something that if someone were to be like, hey, let's go do this, what's immediately that comes to your mind that sparks joy? And so I think about it this way, it's like if on Saturday night, you at the club throwing ass, having fun, pouring sweat,
Ah,
dancing your
ah,
night away with your cocky tails, then why are you not in your living room getting a 30 minutes of cardio session right there, dancing to
ooh,
some random YouTube video that's free? If you have children and they are balls running up and down all over the place, how about you play tag with them, race after them, get your
baby, there is no workout like chasing a child
what? I
or a
was just
cat or
like, you
dog.
have
Chasing
free,
them,
that's free cardio right there. All right. Or like even mobility, you have a pet, you having to walk, step over the cat, move with the dog, limber. That's your mobility challenge right there. Play with your pet. All right. And then from there, you're like, okay, well, how do you find other things that spark joy? So, like, what did you do as a child that you're like, I really, really enjoyed? I'm like, oh, I love to ride my bike with my friends. Cool. Go rent a bike from Capital Bike Share. Go take a lap around. Go see the monuments at night or in the daytime because that's safer. Like, go if you like strolls. All right, take that stroll to Rock Creek Park. Bring hell. You don't even have to make that elaborate. If you want to bring a cocktail with you, who's gonna stop you? Bring some friends with you. What is the easiest way that I told somebody the other day? I was like, technically, you going around the museums, like the Smithsonian Museum, around them all. That do you know how long that takes you? You're already
that's a
stuck
trek.
when you get it.
That's a
And not
trek.
only that, you got some culture along the way. You got some entertainment. So go see the free things in the city. What are literally things that you would already have done anyways and add an extra step to it? All right. And then how can you involve your community with it? So if they're already doing it, tag them along. And I know everyone's like, well, that's easier said than done. And I'm like, I know. But now the challenging part, what makes it less joyful is you making the active decision to choose you. Because you're like,
Mm,
oh, well, I'm too tired to play with my kids. And then when will your kids get older and you ready to hang out with them, they're moving on. They're like, well, you never hung out with me when I was younger. Why do I got to bond with you now? Like,
that's real.
okay, you're busy, so busy doing XYZ and things, but you neglect your health, and all of a sudden you have all these medications you have to take, all these different things, restrictions you have to do, all the things that you love to do, you can't do anymore. And like I said, once again, this is also the mindset of knock on wood, God be of grace, nothing terrible happens, right? But like while you have the ability to move, embrace that privilege. Because there's so many people who are begging, they wish they go back and they're like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I had that. I wish. And honestly, you can't build anything with wishes.
Ooh,
So I don't know. I just like it's the idea of like, I really mean it when I say if you would do it anyways, if you want to be with the people, want to find joy in that, everything else will come. Now, I would love to see you in one of my classes. I would love to do all the fitness things. I would love to take you on that journey. But I want you to start with something. If you're coming in and you're already resentful, you're already miserable, you already hate it, you've already created that mindset. You're like, well, I'm too weak to do this. So I'm just going to be frowning the whole time. Or I'm like, oh, this was too hard. This person challenged me. Well, if you could have already done it, then go home.
right.
If you could already have done it, if you were already like, oh, I could do this on my own, but you did it. So if you need an accountability partner, if you want something to gently bully you into your joy,
Just say that.
I got your back.
Right. Just say that. What you need from me.
But don't come to me saying, "Well, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's no this or that." And I'm like, "You have to make the decision first." That dumb saying, what? Because I'm a lover of dumb sayings of like, you can't force a horse to drink. You can bring them to the river, but they will die of thirst. And I'm like, "You're right." And I'm no longer in the habit of begging people to spark joy. So if you want to be miserable, you do that. Over there though,
Mm,
please keep a 10-foot radius. Don't
mm.
reach onto my
Not
person.
around this part. Not around these parts.
Nope.
That is
Shoot.
so real. That's why I'm like, I'm here for you, whatever you need. If you need to me to go with you somewhere that I might not even like that, whatever that modality is, but I'm here to support you in your journey, then that's fine. But we have to we gotta do better, y'all. We
Yeah.
gotta, and it really is about you. And I think you also mentioned this before, but it's just like what works for me just might not be for you. So that's why don't compare your journey to mine.
Dang.
Don't feel like you need to follow my footprint because it went everywhere, and it might not work for you. You might not like running, and that's fine. Although some folks like to just keep mentioning that.
Yeah. I am one of them. I literally I tell people I hate running. I'm like, give me an asterisk mark. It's like I the first 3 miles are run. My body is like, what the hell are you doing? But once the endorphins kick in, my little motor, the book is on, the music is bopping. I'm like, okay, great.
Okay, so before we finish up, we need to talk about your guilty pleasure playlist picks. So how does Golden by Jill Scott or She's a Bad Mama Jamma fit into your ideal workout vibe?
Oh, okay. Golden. One. Jill Scott, undeniable, magical, existent, and
Jilly from Philly.
a voice of a generation. And I don't know, Golden is one of those songs that no matter what time of day I hear it, what mood I'm in, it literally just gets you moving and grooving. And that is
It
how I
does.
want to be. I feel that that's like my warm up song where it's like, look, I don't care
Literally and
what you felt
figuratively.
today. You showed up. We about to be golden, all right? You like taking your
It
freedom.
really
They were trying to take it from you. You took your freedom. You took back control of your day. You took control of. Did you let a spilt glass of milk ruin your whole day, or did you let it be a moment and realize you could rewrite the rest of it? And so that's kind of like how I think about my fitness. Is like I come in tired, I come in angry, I come in joyful, I come in rageful, and I know everyone at SWDC has seen me come in tired, like really sleepy. Like I'll be half awake, being like, "Okay, give me like 20 minutes." I got 20 minutes before I need to be on. Hold up, real second. Um, and I like the idea that that song, no matter what, puts a smile on my face. So like, it's the idea of like it invites me to be like, all right, you chose you. Let's let's be about it. And she's a bad mama jamma is like my baseball walkout song. It is my
I,
anthem. Like I think they tried to cancel it a couple years back for some reason. I was like, you can't come for this man.
what
Carl, you could leave that man alone, leave the song alone, because he is hyping this woman up however you think about it, all right? He's a bad man. I'm like, I am. She's fine.
as
She's
she
perfect.
can be.
And like, when I think about myself and my fitness journey, it's like I've always, you've always been fighting for the aesthetic. And like, I will not lie, y'all. The body dysmorphia is real. And
Woo.
so like be careful with the friends because like people will see you in a way you cannot see yourself. And sometimes it's only when you look at the photos, you're just like, damn, damn, damn. Like you have grown,
She's a
you have.
bad mama jamma.
She's a bad mama, but also the reminder of like whoever you started off or whatever your beginning journey was also a bad mama jam because she had to make a
Mm.
decision to show up. And I feel like what I've been telling a lot of people recently is like, don't criticize the body that has to do all the work to get to your goals. Don't criticize the person who made the choice to show up, who had to suffer, who had to change their diet, who had to, cancel plans to do an extra, like to do their workout for that day. Don't criticize that person and be like, oh, well, when I get to this new person, I'ma be that because that person
Mhm.
didn't have to work for shit. that, that person just it has arrived. That
Yeah.
person arrived and said, "Oh, I get all the blessings of that hard dedication of that person who started." So I think that song entirely is like it carries me through my whole wellness journey of being like, look, whatever variation of shape I am, whatever I look like, however I feel, whatever I'm going through, I am that shit because she showed up. All right. She's a
Yes.
bad mama jamma. As fine as she can be. So yeah.
That's right. Ah, Period. It's funny because you did actually mention before that I love that powerful statement. Never bully a body that has to do all the work that gets you to your goal. Because like you said, that new version of you, they already had the routine down. They already knew what the nutrition. They already went through all the trials and tribulations and knew the right moves to make, and now they're here. The old you, they had to go through it.
Suffer. They
They
had
had
to
to go
suffer.
through it and they got up and they did it again. So shout outs to them, shout
Yes.
outs to you, then shout outs to the future you. But with that statement, what is one mindset shift you wish everyone could make about their bodies?
Oh, one mindset shift. I think my thing is it's like your don't let anyone else influence your body goals.
Mm.
And I think is and I say that to say, and I think of the generational thing of like, I know I come from a family of like people who are like, oh, well, I hated this about my body. I hate this. So I'm
Mhm.
going to give that energy to the next generation so they can hate that about their body. And then we're going to talk about it to each other, be like, oh, well, she would look better if she did that or did, but and I'm like, comparison's the thief of joy, y'all. And coming
Per-
from family and friends, it hurts even more. And I know. So it's the idea of like, what is your body, what does that look like and how can you master that? And so I know we follow trends, you know, like the early millennials had like the Britneys and the Christinas and their rake thin selves, and we have the curvaceous and everyone's like the BBL and all that. So we're always chasing a goal, and I'm like, you never gonna be happy
mm.
because I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for me, but I feel like every time I chase a body aesthetic, you get somewhere near that body aesthetic, the trend either changes or B, you get there, you're like, this don't even look right on me. Like, what the hell?
It, it's like, why not do all that? I don't even
Like,
like this.
I don't know, you just looking
Why
at you
my head looks so big?
like, damn, everything's unproportional. You just off and broken. And so
Don't
that
feel.
could be said. It's like whatever goal you have, make sure you're choosing that goal for you. You're not choosing it for your man. You're not choosing it for your bestie and a tessie. You're not choosing it for, I mean, you can choose health for your children, but don't choose your body goals for your children. Like,
Mm.
choose like how you look at yourself. Like, who are you going to look at in the mirror and be like, damn, that's the person who had to walk up 10 flights of stairs today and didn't die. That is the one who not only had the made an incredible meal of like salmon and maple Brussels sprouts, but she also had a blueberry
Yes.
cookie waiting for her.
I know that's right.
So it's like, it's the idea like, who can you look at and be like, this is the person who gets to do all the incredible things that make you you. No one else gets to have your body. No one else gets to move in your body, deal with your body, be with it every single day of every single moment of your life. So it's really exhausting to hate yourself all the damn time and just realize you're never going to be happy. So I guess my very easier said than done advice is just for 5 whole seconds, choose not to hate yourself. Even if you have to lie, fake it till you make it and then become it, that's okay.
Put a poster on your mirror. Do a little alarm
Yep,
saying, "Bitch, you
manifest
that you mad." Put an alarm with "You're a bad man, pajama" as
it.
whatever you need to do.
I
Just
like
give
just
yourself a
hype
little
yourself.
reminders.
Be a little be a high the way and I think this is like the really way I think about it is that if you spoke to a friend or
Mm.
someone spoke to your friend rather, the way you spoke to yourself, would you
Would you
beat
want
the
to fight
hell out
them?
of them?
Right. Would
Like,
you want to
yeah,
fight them?
would you be okay with that? And if you are okay with that, one, you need better friends. You need to be a better friend. You awful. You need to a whole personality shift. Get rid of that. But if you're like, damn, that is disrespectful as hell, then I hope that there's something going on in your brain where you're like, maybe I should be like 1% kinder.
It's a
And just
little
like
bit.
anything, one day it's 1%, the next day it's two. Give it 100 days, and all of a sudden you're a whole new person with the positivity and joy and be like, damn, I am fine. And you're not gonna always have good days, okay? Remember that. There's no such thing. But if most of the days are pretty good, I think you've done your job.
To win. Oh, I love it. All right. So, last thing, is there any final words of wisdom or advice you would like the Obsidian community as they embark on their own wellness journey to just consider?
I don't know. If y'all ever seen Yes Man, the Jim Carrey movie where he just said yes a lot, I need y'all for like 1 week to have a yes week. Just say yes to
Mm.
opportunity, yes to challenges, yes to choices, yes to changes, yes to anything. If someone invites you somewhere, say yes, unless it's dangerous. But like if they're like, hey, you want to go get coffee and go try out my XYZ, say yes. Don't care if you don't want to do it anyways. You want to go hang out, blah, 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 blah. You want to try something, try it one time. Don't tell someone you hate something before you try it. Just one time. And I think if you make that decision just one time to try something new, you might be really hell surprised of what you find out about yourself. And that change, that open heart, that open mindedness to create and empower yourself for something new can be a game changer. So I guess my thing is like say yes. Even if it's just one yes. Just one, you know? It's not gonna hurt you to go to hula hoop class. All right. For all the men out there who are like keep avoiding their, partners, little Pilates, yoga, mobility, go once. Realize that shit's hard as hell. All right. Hard, challenging. Don't think just because you can squat 400 pounds, you can hold a warrior two for 2 minutes in 95-degree heat and be okay. Okay? Or go to a Pilates class with 2 pounds and think you gonna master it in one go. Challenge yourself. And then same thing, girls, go with your partner to whatever they're fitness in. They're into CrossFit, go once. All right. It probably won't spark joy, but it might. It
It
might.
might. You never know.
You don't know. All right. Go on the hike. Go kayak. Do something. Learn how to goddamn swim, especially you black people. I'm talking to you. Go learn how to swim. I
Damn.
did. I did. I'm angry because it's 2025 and I know generational harm has problematized our people.
Talk
If
about
y'all don't learn how to swim, I will fight you myself. I'll even offer swim classes. Let's do it. Like,
Ooh,
do it.
let's do it. We're gonna do swim meetups this summer.
That would be cute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that.
Accountability.
Hold
I'm a
Joe
remember.
accountable. Swim
I'm
meetups,
holding
City of
swim
Wellness.
meetups. We're doing it. Ah.
But yeah, there's something new.
Thank you, Starlight, for coming. This was so much fun. We have to come. You have to come back again.
I'm really grateful
Yes.
for having me. Thanks for asking. Um, y'all, welcome to my chaos world. Feel free to ask questions live. When you get me in a good mood, I promise you I'm really chatty and friendly. You catch me in a
And well
bad mood.
fed. And well
Yeah,
fed.
and well fed. Y'all, you usually gonna be hungry, tired, oh, stressy, depressy, but I don't know. I want to say this is that I love my community. I love my people. And I think this year is the year where I want to lean in and to highlight there's so many incredible fitness people, wellness people, mental people, like spiritual people. And it's just like tap into your community. Ask your friends what they doing. Connect, all right? And what might not be for me might be for you. And I got people in all over doing a whole bunch of random ass things. So if you want to do it, I got you. I'll support you on your journey. Me and Joe will even go with you.
We will.
I'm speaking for him. Yes, he's coming with.
Oh, you know I'm down. First of
Let's go.
all, let me just say, because you were talking about before, if you have never done a pole dancing class,
Oh,
be
damn.
prepared to be humbled. Those
Humble.
women and men are athletes, and don't you ever say anything less because unless you've done what is it by air and by land and by until you do all three, don't say
Yeah.
nothing because I didn't
Don't
know
say
how weak
no.
my chest was until I had to go on that pole.
Right? Be happy to be humbled.
Be
All right. Don't
yes,
let go of that ego. Being humble
let
is my
go.
favorite thing. Oh, I've lost like many stories. Like my favorite thing is like I told I started out yoga. I'm a I'll give you look, I'm a yoga teacher at Core Power, my own practice of Black Yoga Magic. I do group fitness training with Sweat DC, and I have in my head an incredibly strong core, right? I'd be working that core. I'd be doing all these things. I had back pain. I was like, what the hell is this back pain? And I went and they're like, oh yeah, your core is weak as hell. And I was like, what? And they're like, your surface core is strong, baby girl. Your deep
Drag
core,
me.
the core that matters, weak. And I was like, oh. And so between PT and taking like solid core Pilates classes, you're right. I was so humbled. Teardrops falling on my guitar. I was suffering. And instead, some people would be like, so you mean you were embarrassed that you were a fitness person? You get no. I said, damn. One, look at you badasses getting this shit done. Two, let me lean in this. All right. How can I figure this shit out?
How can I level up?
Let me get my training arc and grow. And so I think it's the thing is like let yourself be humble. If you can't do something, it's a not yet. I can't do it yet.
Oh, you better drop that gem at the
Look,
end.
ask questions, okay? Listen to your coaches if they're actually giving good advice. Listen to your coaches, okay? Modify. Do the variation. You are not weaker for doing anything that is less than the full move. You are actually stronger because you listened and you're working on the foundation, okay? Protect yourself.
Do the modification. It is
Please.
okay. It does not mean you're weak. It does not mean, even if you know how to do the workout, that modification can help you. You always need to go back. I always love going back to foundational stuff, like no weights, no nothing. Because sometimes you're like, oh wow, my form was really trash.
Gosh,
I was
and
I was
record yourself. Oh, I like think last
straight
summer
to
I
bar
redid my squats from scratch. I was like, oh, I could squat 205. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you looked at my squat, it was a little squeak squeak. I didn't go nowhere. I was like, oh, I went back. I started back with the bar, y'all. I went all the way back and I built myself up and I can confidently, I'm like, I'm a strong 165, 185 on a good day, and that is safe for me
with good form.
with good form, right? I realize it's not worth me sacrificing my form to look mid. So I'm just saying it's okay to start with the foundation, be with the basic. You're not basic for doing basics, okay?
Put that on a show. You are not basic for doing. You heard it here first.
There it is, y'all. Gang, gang.
Thank you, Starlight. Appreciate you again. And we'll see y'all here on the track. And like I like to say, thank you for picking you today. Bye, y'all.
Bye.